So I'm going to do a book review on Charlamagne the God, Black Privilege. This book is about Charlamagne. He talks about his life as a kid growing up in Monk, South Carolina. He talks about his environment. When I was reading the introduction, he talked about how he's seen spirits and he's seen UFOs. So I thought this book was going to be, lengthy, talking about spirits and ghosts for whatever reason, but it's not. It's only like a couple sentences. He just mentions it and just moves on to the next topic. He talked about how he transitions from being a good kid in school to basically being a knucklehead, making bad grades, dealing with the wrong crowd, which was really his family. He just goes in depth about his relationship with his father, his mother. He talks about his wife. He talks about his skin. When Charlamagne, well, probably when you first seen him or something, he had like discoloration on his skin. He talks about his diet and what he did to get better skin, because there's people out there saying he bleached his skin. So that's something he also talks about. He talks about relationships. He also talks about the assault situation that he is currently going through, or maybe it's over, but there was a girl who basically said that he drugged her and raped her and so on and so forth. And he also talks about that in the book. What I found interesting about the book, which may seem like common sense to a lot of people, but he really stresses throughout the book to not compromise yourself, to be you. There's a part in the book where he talks about how he got into a brutal fight with somebody, and through that brutal fight, what he gained from that was to, what's the worst that can happen to me? I've been beat to a pulp. I've been called ugly. I've been humiliated, embarrassed, and so on and so forth. And he used that to just build tougher skin. He owned that and he pushed through that. So if you're from Monk, South Carolina, this may be something you want to check out, because it talks about your state a lot. It talks about your environment or what it used to be. But overall, the reason why I say this book is all right is because it had a lot of slow moments in it. Like, as you're reading the book, it gets kind of interesting and then it goes down, like it loses momentum. Then it'll build up that momentum again, and then it'll go back down, and then up and then down, and then kind of up and then down. So I'm a big reader, okay? I read a lot of books. I know when I have a good book in my hand. I know if a book can keep me page to page, just kind of, whoa, I know I got a good book. There's been times I've read books and I've cried. There's been times I've read books and I just couldn't get enough. Like, oh my gosh, I got to read part 2. Oh man, it's over. No, I've been there. I know when I have a good book in my hand. And I give this book a 6 because it was too many. It was too many slow parts in the book. It was too many, like, I can't tell you how many times I was like, damn, I'm done. Like, I'm bored. Like, I can't wait to finish this book. I think Charlamagne has the potential to write books better. I personally, this is just my opinion, I would suggest that you just word your books better. I know this is your life story, and I'm not saying your life story is boring at all, but instead of dragging certain situations out, dragging situations out, you could just use one word to describe like at least a half of a paragraph or something. Like, some of the stories were just dragged out and it was just so like, but when it got good, it got good. When it got boring, it got boring. It's a 6. The ending ended off really good. The ending more so talks about internships, how you should go practice going on job interviews more to make you not as nervous. That advice is really good. He really dropped some good advice in the book. And some advice he talks about, there was a chapter when he talks about Kanye West, and he was saying Kanye had a lot of yes men around him. Let me find that. When he talks about Kanye had a lot of yes men around him. And basically he put some advice in there, about being in a situation like that when you're surrounded by yes men, because they're nervous to tell you no, because if you get angry or if you dismiss them or so on and so forth, that's making people want to not tell you anything. That's just going to let people watch you self-destruct. He also talks about being positive and having positive energy. There was a part in the book, he said, when Beyonce comes in the room, she's well-mannered. She goes up to people and she's, how are you? Hey. She just doesn't go up to the big guy to the famous person, just hey, and ignore everybody else. And those are some things that he took from that. He talks about along his journey in life, some of the things that he learned. He learned from Wendy Williams. He learned from Beyonce. He learned from, you know, a whole bunch of other people that I may be forgetting. But like this book was a bit educational. It was very enlightening to hear a lot of this stuff, but once again, it was slow. Like it lost momentum. In this book, he talks about work. He talks about worth ethic. He talks about relationship. He talks about having big egos. He talks about being you, doing you, owning you. By reading this book, I can tell, because he talks about his teenage life and he did a lot of silly things as a teenager, a lot of silly things. And you can tell that this man really took time, like for who he is today. And from what I perceive from the book, this man took time to therapy himself. I don't know if he got help by other people, whatever, but he really took time and reflected on himself, and he changed his ways and he learned from his ways. So in this book, you can tell that he's trying to send a message out there to somebody that's like him, from somebody that may need this advice or something. He's reaching people. He's definitely trying to reach people through this book that he feels like is on the same path he's on. You know, he talks about hanging with losers and people who gave up on life and so on and so forth. Let me see, 273. Let me try to probably read some parts of this book, you know, because he really is talking about some good. Okay, here's a part in the book. It says, no matter what sort of struggle. No, I'm going to read a part where he's talking about Eric Williams. If you don't know who that is, he's a basketball player. If you watch Basketball Wives LA, Jennifer's husband, Jabberjaws, that's what they used to call him on Basketball Wives LA. And they called him Jabberjaws, okay?
What I'm gonna be Brad Pitt for, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever. Keep it moving.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, you gotta be real careful, you know what I mean?
What?
Be real careful, you know what I'm saying? Be real careful. Like, this is a new day. You know what I'm saying?
I will you up.
But it says, I'm always motivated by people who own being black and ugly as ever. Take Eric Williams, the former NBA player who was on Basketball Wives a few seasons. Not only is he ugly, but he has a huge keloid on his forehead that makes him look like a black unicorn. When he came to the Breakfast Club, I had to fire off some jokes on him. First, I put up a poll on the website asking listeners to vote on which of us was better looking. For the record, I won. After teasing him about the poll results, I told him, man, you look like Hellboy. That's fine with me, Hellboy making money. Eric says, it's a constant reminder for me of how I grew up when I was young and dumb. Even though you can't control your height, your skin color, or sometimes even your weight, you can always control how you come off to people. Someone might meet you and think ugly as ever, but you can make that impression fade away a few minutes. Someone who wrote you off initially can leave a conversation with you thinking, that dude is cool, or that girl is funny, that dude is smart. Not that dude is ugly, that girl is fat, or that dude has a small mountain on his head. That's why if you're feeling ugly, and the most of us sometimes always ask yourself, what is my however? If you don't feel like it's your personality, it's got to be something else. You might be a great artist, a great cook. Then let the world eat your food. And he's definitely encouraging you to look for that however. You know, if you feel like, damn, I don't look cute today, you know, shine some way. You know, don't be negative. He really talks about don't be negative, pass out positive energy and so on and so forth. So like I said, this book has some heavy hitter advice up in here. But once again, it was like kind of slow. 67. Why is page 67 my favorite part? Oh, how is that my favorite part? Future once rapped, fuck what you heard, God blessing all the trap niggas. I love Future, but I have to say, he got that one wrong. Fuck what you heard. God is not blessing none of you trap niggas. I'm sorry, I have upstairs neighbors. You know what? They're taking a shower upstairs and you can hear them. Honestly, I think that apartment upstairs is abandoned and there's like crackheads living upstairs in my apartment. So it kind of pisses me off with these. I understand y'all need to take a shower, but it's kind of like rude. Like y'all really don't even live there. And I think I'm gonna say something because that's just not cool. Like, are y'all thieves? Why are y'all let crackheads living above me? Like, honestly. Like, no, that really pisses me off. I'm trying to do a video and they're upstairs taking a shower. Technically, you're not supposed to be there. No shade, I understand. I ain't against the homeless or nothing, but bro, come on. The hell, you want to take a shower and I'm doing something? I mean, I don't mind if you want to do what you want to do, but don't fuck up my shit. Like, that's rude. I'm about to call the fucking office on their ass. But Charlamagne encouraged you to get out and to do something with yourself. Don't believe that there's an invisible force controlling your destiny. He's just really saying, put in the work. Work hard for what you want. Don't just sit around and smoke weed all day and just be a bum and do all that, you know, because that's really not going to get you anywhere. You need to put in the work. You need to work hard. You need to grow. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Challenge yourself. Learn from those mistakes. You know, learn also. When you're in a shitty situation, look what's around you and see what you can learn when you're down there in those humbling times, you know. Try to learn from your mistakes. And I know how hard that can be, to try to put your pride and your ego and all that stuff to the side. But I know when I have a good book in my hand, and I know when I have a not so good book in my hand. And this book right here is a 6 to me, a solid 6. With that said, this is my book review on Charlamagne the God, Black Privilege.